Well, welcome back to Mr. Obsolete's Vintage Homesteading. Today's exciting video, we're going to be using linseed oil and different stuff to go ahead and see how it saturates and soaks into the wood. We did one earlier, but we're going to do this one a little bit different. We're going to let this sit for probably 2 to 3 weeks before we come back. But these are the cookies we cut down with Mac-Zilla here. So this wood's been down for at least a year, so it's nice and dry. So what we're going to do is we're going to use some pure gum spirits turpentine, 50-50 with boiled linseed oil. So I've got 50-50 on here. So get this all mixed up here. So we'll just put this on here. So our goal is to try to figure out how the wood and how much it can soak in over time. So I'll be right back when they're ready for the next one. Well, this one we're going to use heated linseed oil, and heated it up on my vintage old Pullman camp stove there. So anyway, we'll get this all put in here. Like I say, we'll let it sit for at least 2-3 weeks, maybe more, depending on how it looks when how dry it looks when it's been sitting after a bit. On the handles and stuff, this works better than anything, so this is just, like I say, just kind of an experiment to see how it'll do in a nice big cookie here. Okay, well, we'll be back in a bit. Okay, well, this will be the last one. This is going to be our straight linseed oil, no heat or anything. Just put it on right out of the can here and see how it does. Yeah, get that all spread out, but anyway, once we're done with this, like I say, we'll let it set. We'll see what kind of time frame it takes for it to look like it's pulled in pretty good, and then we'll take an axe and split it and see how much it actually penetrates. Well, one of the jobs that I was really putting off for a while, mainly because of the weather, but I need to dig this out because you can see that the outer wall here is leaning out a fair amount there. So anyway, the soil has a lot of clay and small rocks in it, so it's really hard to use a shovel. It would have taken a lot of effort to do that. And so I thought, you know, maybe I could use the Mantis Tiller to till it up, which I did. And I did a superb job. It cut the time down to maybe a quarter what it would have taken. Plus, I didn't get nearly as tired working on it. But if you don't have one of these and you have a garden, you should have one. Anyway, you can see it's all cleaned out, and all I'm going to do is roll the wall back and reinforce it and put it together. And I wanted to briefly show you how bad this soil is. Now, we've been growing crops in here, but there are types of plants that have shallow roots because the soil is so compact and hard down. Deep root plants would have a tough time in it. So here we go. We've got our little cheesy shovel here, and You can see it takes a bit of effort to even do that instead of popping the soil up. That's what happens. So anyway, well, when I've tilled this out here, and you can see that it's pretty nice now. It'll be a whole lot better when I finish it up. And what it's like originally, all clumpy and hard. I'm going to till a bunch of peat moss and perlite and other stuff in here to make the soil better. And then next we're going to talk about the Mary Tiller a little bit. Well, we talked about a Mary Tiller, so I wanted to show you one. These are about as basic and simple as a tiller could be. They were designed in 1947 and produced in Washington State for most of their life. Amazing thing, they're still making them today. And anyway, they're, like I say, they're very simple, but the idea behind these, that like the little tiller, the Mantis, has that real narrow area here, and if you wanted to do this, you just simply take the outer tines off. And then I'm talking about the tines are just basically metal bar that's just bent and welded onto a plate here. It's very, very simple. And then what they use as a gearbox is basically there's a couple of stamped tin covers that go together. There's an axle through here, and there's a sprocket on each end with a chain on it. And this, you can adjust the height on it to hold it against it to see how deep you want it to dig. But like I say, it's amazing because the Mary Tiller, I believe, was probably the one that put tillers into the home market big time, probably more so than anyone else. And they were simple and cheap and did the job. But later versions of them have regular tines, and they've modernized them, still make them today. Big seller in not so Great Britain. But just to show you how simple they are, this lever here has a bearing on it, and of course your engine sits right here, and then a V-belt comes across, and then the lever up here, the handle, you pull this and it lifts up and tightens the belt, and you let off and it goes back to not running. Of course then you have a throttle up here too. So anyway, I might fiddle around this summer and get one of these run. I have a couple of them, so the other one's in much better shape than this one. But anyway, remember, vintage is best.